Have you ever sat back and wondered if everything you trust in your relationship is truly as solid as it seems? Let's be honest, folks. No one wants to believe their partner could betray them. It's a topic we shy away from, preferring the comfort of trust and stability. But what if that stability is an illusion? Today, we're diving into the uncomfortable but crucial reality of what happens when betrayal takes root in the home. Trust me, this isn't a conversation to miss. Think about this for a moment. Studies show that infidelity is more common than many of us are willing to admit. And often, the one who cheats doesn't leave behind obvious clues. No dramatic confessions, no late-night arguments, just subtle changes that can easily slip under the radar if you're not paying attention. The very person who shares your bed, your meals, and your life might be hiding a second life that you know nothing about. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. This isn't about paranoia or distrust. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing the signs that something might be off and understanding the psychology behind why people cheat. Together, we'll uncover the truth that most people overlook. Because while betrayal is painful, understanding it is powerful. The Stoics teach us that the key to emotional resilience lies in facing reality with courage and wisdom. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Picture this. Your partner comes home, but something feels different. It's not just the usual exhaustion from a long day. It's in the way they act, the things they say or don't say, and even how they smell. Yes, folks, sometimes the smallest details reveal the biggest truths. Changes in scent, unexplained schedule shifts, or sudden bursts of affection might seem harmless. But when put together, they tell a story that you need to pay attention to. The truth is, people who cheat often think they're smarter than they are. They believe their actions are invisible, that they've perfectly covered their tracks. But as you'll see throughout this video, the signs are always there if you know where to look. And here's the kicker. These signs aren't just physical, they're emotional and psychological too. From subtle changes in their routine to the way they interact with their phone, we're going to break it all down, step by step. Now, you might be wondering, why does this happen? Why would someone risk everything for a moment of deceit? The reasons are as complex as they are varied. Some cheat because they feel emotionally unfulfilled, others because they crave excitement or validation. And sometimes, it's not even about the partner they're betraying, it's about unresolved issues within themselves. Understanding these motivations doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does help you make sense of it. And more importantly, protect yourself from its impact. In this video, we're not just talking about the act of cheating. We're unpacking the psychological and emotional ripple effects it creates. When someone cheats, it's not just their secret. It becomes a shadow over the entire relationship. The betrayed partner often senses something's wrong long before the truth comes out. There's a tension in the air, a shift in the dynamics that's impossible to ignore. If you've ever felt that nagging sense of unease, you're not crazy. Your intuition is trying to tell you something. We'll start by exploring the hidden signs of betrayal, those subtle but telling clues that they think you'll overlook. Then we'll delve into the sudden shifts in their routine. Have you noticed them staying late at work more often or making excuses to be out of the house? These aren't just coincidences. They're patterns that deserve a closer look. And if their affection toward you seems to have increased overnight, don't mistake it for genuine care. It might be guilt manifesting as overcompensation. Physical changes are another red flag. Are they suddenly dressing better, hitting the gym more frequently, or experimenting with a new hairstyle? These might seem like harmless self-improvements, but ask yourself, who are they trying to impress? Combine this with a growing tension at home, where peace has been replaced by unease, and you have a clearer picture of what might be going on. Let's not forget the role of technology in modern relationships. Social media, messaging apps, and even hidden folders on their devices have created a new playground for infidelity. If their phone is suddenly off limits, or they're overly protective of their online activity, it's time to pay attention. Technology has made it easier to cheat, but it's also left behind a digital trail for those willing to look. And finally, we'll address the big question: why do they cheat? Is it dissatisfaction in the relationship, personal insecurity, or simply the thrill of the forbidden? The reasons might differ, but the common thread is emotional voids, needs they can't articulate or meet in a healthy way. By understanding these voids, we can approach the issue with the clarity and composure that Stoicism teaches us. So, stay with me as we uncover the shocking truths about betrayal. This isn't about blame or shame, it's about empowerment. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize the signs of infidelity, but also gain the tools to navigate its emotional aftermath with strength and dignity. Whether you're watching this because you've experienced betrayal or simply want to strengthen your relationship, there's something here for everyone. Ready to dive in? Let's begin. Number 1. The hidden signs of betrayal. Clues. They think you'll miss betrayal often lurks in the shadows. And the most unsettling part? The signs are there, staring you in the face, but they're so subtle you might dismiss them as overthinking. It's not just about a sudden shift in behavior, it's about the little, almost imperceptible changes that, when pieced together, form a bigger picture. Understanding these signs is your first step in uncovering the truth without being consumed by paranoia. One of the first hidden signs often lies in how they communicate or suddenly stop communicating. You might notice fewer details about their day, a hesitation to share the small, mundane moments that used to flow so freely. It's not that they're too busy to talk, it's that they're actively avoiding letting slip something they don't want you to know. Silence, in this case, speaks volumes. Pay attention to vague answers like, "Nothing much happened today," or "It's just the usual," especially if these phrases replace the in-depth stories they used to share. Another subtle clue often lies in their reactions to your questions. If they suddenly become overly defensive or dismissive when you casually ask about their day or who they've been spending time with, it could indicate something they're trying to hide. For example, an innocent, "Who did you have lunch with today?" It might be met with an exaggerated response like, "Why do you care?" Or, "It's not like I have to report everything to you." These reactions could signal that your question hit closer to home than they'd like to admit. Then there are the physical tells, the small, unconscious behaviors that reveal more than words ever could. Have you noticed them checking their phone more frequently, but angling it away from your line of sight? Or perhaps they've started taking their phone everywhere, even places they never used to, like the bathroom. This isn't just about protecting their privacy. It's about safeguarding a secret they don't want uncovered. You might also notice a subtle shift in how they prioritize their time. The routines that once revolved around you might start to feel different. Maybe they're suddenly staying late at work more often, or perhaps they've developed new hobbies or social circles that don't seem to include you. While having their own interests is perfectly healthy, a drastic increase in solo activities or unexplained absences should catch your attention. It's not just what they're doing, but how little effort they make to include you or share these new aspects of their life. One of the most telling yet overlooked signs is their body language. People often underestimate the power of nonverbal communication, but it can reveal everything from discomfort to guilt. Do they avoid eye contact during conversations, especially when discussing topics related to trust or fidelity? Are their gestures more closed off, like crossing their arms or keeping a physical distance? These actions can be subtle indicators that something deeper is amiss. Perhaps the most heartbreaking sign is when the connection you once felt begins to fade. It's not something you can pinpoint immediately, but over time, you may feel like they're emotionally distant, as if their mind is elsewhere, even when they're physically present. Conversations may lack depth, and the laughter or ease you once shared feels strained or forced. This emotional withdrawal often precedes more obvious signs of betrayal, making it a critical moment to pay attention. Before you jump to conclusions, remember that no single sign is definitive proof of betrayal. Life is complex, and people's behaviors change for many reasons. The key is to look for patterns, repeated actions that align with multiple signs. Betrayal thrives on the assumption that you won't notice, that you'll dismiss these clues as mere coincidences. By staying observant and trusting your instincts, you're taking the first step toward uncovering the truth. Let's pause here for a moment of reflection. If any of this resonates with you, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Type "I trust myself" to affirm your ability to see through deception and stay grounded in your intuition. Your voice matters, and hearing your perspective might just help someone else going through a similar situation. In the next section, we'll explore how shifts in routine might signal deeper changes. You won't want to miss this. It could be the key to understanding what's really happening beneath the surface. Let's continue. Number 2. When their routine suddenly shifts. What it really means. Routines are the foundation of our daily lives. They create predictability, stability, and trust in relationships. So when someone's routine changes unexpectedly, it's natural to notice and sometimes worry. But what do these shifts really mean? Are they harmless adjustments or signs of something deeper? Let's unpack the clues hidden within a change in routine and explore how they can reveal the truth. One of the most common signs of a routine shift is sudden, unexplained absences. Perhaps they're staying late at work more often, citing increased demands or new projects. While this could genuinely be the case, the lack of details or the vagueness in their explanations should give you pause. For example, a statement like, "I have a lot going on at the office," without further elaboration could mean they're trying to avoid giving specifics. If this pattern emerges, it's worth asking open-ended questions to see if their answers align or seem rehearsed. Another change to watch for is an increase in social outings that don't include you. Maybe they're spending more time with friends, attending events they've never mentioned before, or suddenly engaging in hobbies you weren't aware of. While it's healthy to have separate interests in a relationship, a significant uptick in activities that don't involve you, or ones they never invite you to, can feel suspicious. What's crucial here is not the activity itself, but the context. Does their behavior seem out of character? Or do they offer little information about these outings? Technology often plays a role in routine changes, especially in today's connected world. Are they spending more time on their phone or computer than usual? Perhaps they've developed a newfound interest in texting late into the night, or stepping out to take calls in private. These actions might seem minor on their own, but when combined with other routine shifts, they could indicate a deliberate attempt to carve out space for something or someone they don't want you to know about. Physical changes to their schedule are just one side of the story. Pay attention to the emotional and behavioral shifts that often accompany them. For example, if they've started coming home later than usual, do they seem more withdrawn or irritable when they're finally back? Do they brush off your questions or seem eager to avoid discussing their day? These emotional cues can be just as telling as the routine shifts themselves, hinting at underlying guilt or stress. It's also important to consider how their priorities might be changing. Have they stopped participating in activities you used to enjoy together, like cooking dinner, watching a favorite show, or spending quality time on weekends? A lack of interest in shared rituals can signal that their attention or energy is being redirected elsewhere. What's key here is the suddenness of the change. Was it gradual, or did it happen almost overnight? The latter can be a stronger indicator that something unusual is going on. Sometimes, these shifts can manifest in seemingly positive ways, which makes them harder to interpret. For instance, they might suddenly take on new responsibilities, such as running errands or doing household chores they previously ignored. While this might feel like an improvement, ask yourself whether this change fits their typical behavior. Overcompensating in one area could be a way to deflect attention from other changes they don't want you to notice. Before jumping to conclusions, it's crucial to approach these observations with curiosity, not accusation. Start by having an open, non-confrontational conversation. Use phrases like, "I've noticed your schedule seems different lately. How are you feeling about everything?" Or, this allows them to share without feeling attacked and gives you a chance to gauge their reaction. Are they forthcoming, or do they deflect and shut down? Their response can tell you a lot. However, trust your intuition as well. If their explanations don't align with their actions, or if you sense an underlying tension they're not addressing, it's okay to take a closer look. Routine shifts alone aren't definitive proof of anything, but they can serve as an early warning sign that something in the relationship requires attention. As we reflect on this topic, let's take a moment for introspection. Have you ever noticed routine changes in a relationship that felt off? Share your thoughts below with the phrase, "I value awareness." B. Your insights might help someone else navigate a similar situation. Next, we'll dive into how overcompensating affection might be masking something deeper. Stay tuned. This is a perspective you won't want to miss. Let's keep exploring. Number 3, overcompensating affection. Is guilt driving their kindness? Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed them suddenly being overly sweet or attentive? Almost like they're trying to win you over all over again? Maybe you're getting surprise gifts, heartfelt compliments, or acts of kindness that seem to come out of nowhere. At first, it feels amazing, right? But if this sudden wave of affection seems out of character or oddly timed, it might be worth a second look. Here's the thing. When someone feels guilty, they often try to cover it up with kindness. It's not necessarily malicious. Guilt is uncomfortable, and overcompensating can be their way of trying to balance things out. Maybe they're trying to make themselves feel better, or ensure you don't start asking questions about their behavior. Either way, this kind of affection might not be as pure as it seems. Picture this. They've never been the type to leave you little notes or bring home your favorite snacks. Then, all of a sudden, they're doing it weekly. Or maybe they're saying, "I love you" more often than ever. It's sweet, sure, but if it's not how they typically show love, you might wonder why the change. Are they genuinely feeling closer to you, or are they trying to distract you from something they're hiding? Here's another scenario. Their affection seems tied to certain events. Maybe they come home later than usual, and suddenly they're extra attentive. They might make your favorite dinner or suggest a date night. It's like they're trying to erase whatever they were doing before they saw you. If these bursts of affection follow unexplained absences or changes in routine, it could be a sign that guilt is at play. Physical affection is another area to watch. Have they become more intimate than usual, initiating physical closeness more often, or being unusually attentive? While these moments can feel great, it's important to ask yourself whether they feel genuine or just off. Is this their natural way of connecting, or does it seem like they're trying too hard to convince you everything is fine? Even their words can be a clue. Are their compliments suddenly over the top? Like, "You're the most amazing person I've ever met," when they've never been this expressive before. Or maybe they're agreeing with you on everything, avoiding conflict at all costs. If their behavior feels more about pleasing you than sharing genuine connection, it might be guilt driving their actions. So, how do you tell the difference between real affection and guilt-driven gestures? Start by looking for consistency. Think back to how they've always shown love in the past. Are these new actions a continuation of their usual behavior, or do they feel like a sudden shift? Also, pay attention to the emotional tone. Genuine affection feels warm and sincere, while guilt-driven acts might feel a little forced or overly polished. If you're feeling unsure, it's okay to bring it up. You might say something like, "You've been so thoughtful lately, and I really appreciate it. Is everything okay?" Keep it light and open, so they don't feel attacked. Their response can reveal a lot about their motivations. Before we wrap up this part, let me ask you, have you ever experienced this kind of sudden affection in a relationship? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below using the phrase, "I trust myself." Your story might inspire someone who's going through the same thing. And hey, if you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got more insights coming that you won't want to miss. Number 4, the physical transformation. Who are they trying to impress? Have you ever noticed someone in your life suddenly putting in extra effort to change their appearance? Maybe they're hitting the gym more often, updating their wardrobe, or spending more time in front of the mirror. At first glance, it seems like a positive change. After all, self-care is important. But sometimes, these transformations might have less to do with personal growth and more to do with impressing someone else. Let's dive into the subtle signs that these changes could mean something deeper. If they've always been comfortable in their style and habits, why the sudden overhaul? New hairstyles, drastic makeup changes, or a complete switch in fashion preferences might seem exciting, but they can also signal a shift in priorities. Are they trying to attract your attention or someone else's? Pay attention to the timing. Did these changes begin after new people entered their social or professional circle? Perhaps they started dressing more sharply after meeting a new colleague or joining a new group. People often adapt their appearance to fit into or stand out in a particular environment. And while that's natural, it's worth noting if their motivation seems external. It's not just about clothes or makeup. Either, fitness routines can be a clue. Imagine they've always been casual about exercise, but now they're suddenly spending hours at the gym. While it's great to see someone embracing healthier habits, it's fair to wonder what sparked this new commitment. Was there a specific comment or event that triggered it? Sometimes, these changes are inspired by a desire to appeal to someone outside the relationship. Another clue lies in their reaction to your compliments. If you praise their new look and they seem indifferent or even dismissive, it might indicate that your opinion isn't the one they're hoping to impress. On the other hand, if they seem unusually eager for your validation, it could mean they're trying to hide the real reason behind their transformation. Their behavior during social events or outings can also be telling. Do they seem more interested in how others perceive them than in spending quality time with you? If they're preoccupied with checking their reflection or fishing for compliments from others, it might be time to dig deeper into what's driving these changes. Of course, not every transformation is suspicious. People evolve, and it's natural to want to look and feel better over time. But when these changes come with other red flags, like secretive behavior, shifts in routines, or emotional distance, it's worth asking questions. Start with open-ended ones like, "You've been trying some new looks lately. What's inspiring you?" Their answer might reveal whether the changes are for themselves or someone else. Don't let assumptions take over. Instead, use this as an opportunity to reconnect, compliment their efforts sincerely, and encourage open communication. By showing interest in their goals and intentions, you create a safe space for honesty. If their transformation is genuine, this will strengthen your bond. If not, it might bring hidden motivations to light. As we wrap up, let's hear from you. Have you ever noticed someone close to you going through a sudden transformation? How did you interpret it? Share your thoughts in the comments below using the phrase, "I notice everything." Let's support each other in recognizing the subtle signs that often go unnoticed. And before you go, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next part of this journey. It's going to get even more insightful. Number 5. Trust your gut when peace is replaced by tension. Have you ever felt that something in your relationship just doesn't feel right? Maybe it's subtle, a quiet unease, a nagging feeling that you can't quite put your finger on. That, my friend, is your intuition speaking. Our gut feelings often pick up on changes before our conscious mind can make sense of them. When peace in a relationship is replaced by tension, it's a signal worth exploring. Let's start with the atmosphere. Has the natural rhythm of your connection shifted? Maybe conversations that used to flow easily now feel stilted or surface level. Is there an underlying tension that wasn't there before? People often try to dismiss these feelings, thinking they're being paranoid or overly sensitive. But ignoring your intuition can mean missing important cues. Pay attention to their emotional availability. Are they suddenly more irritable, defensive, or distant? When someone is carrying the weight of dishonesty or hiding something significant, it often manifests in their behavior. They may snap at minor things or avoid topics they once engaged with enthusiastically. These shifts in emotional energy are not accidents. They're often reflections of internal conflict. Another red flag is inconsistency in their words and actions. If their stories don't quite add up, or their explanations feel vague, your gut might be picking up on something deeper. For example, if they used to share every detail about their day, but now gloss over certain parts, it's worth noting. Changes in openness often signal a shift in trust or priorities. Let's talk about body language. When peace is replaced by tension, it shows in the way people carry themselves. Are they avoiding eye contact more often? Crossing their arms when you discuss sensitive topics? Physical cues like fidgeting, looking away, or an overly casual demeanor can indicate discomfort or even guilt. But tension isn't always about what's present. It's also about what's missing. Are the small gestures of affection that once filled your relationship now conspicuously absent? For example, a goodnight kiss, a quick "how's your day?" a text, or even the way they used to look at you. These voids can speak volumes about the state of your connection. Your intuition is like an internal alarm system. When it senses danger or dishonesty, it sends signals that might feel like restlessness, anxiety, or even a pit in your stomach. Rather than brushing off these feelings, lean into them. Reflect on when the tension started and what might have triggered it. Has there been a recent change in your relationship dynamic or external pressures that could explain their behavior? Here's an important point. Trusting your gut doesn't mean jumping to conclusions. It's about acknowledging your feelings and using them as a guide to dig deeper. Approach the situation with curiosity rather than accusation. Open up the conversation with questions like, "I've been sensing a bit of tension between us lately. Is there something on your mind?" This not only invites honesty, but also shows that you value open communication. If they respond with defensiveness or try to dismiss your concerns, don't let that derail you. Sometimes people deflect because they're not ready to confront the truth themselves. Give them space to process, but keep your boundaries clear. Peace in a relationship is built on mutual trust and honesty, and if that's been compromised, it's worth addressing. As we wrap up this point, let me ask you, have you ever ignored your gut feeling, only to realize later it was spot on? Share your experience in the comments below with the phrase, "I trust my gut." Let's see how many of us have learned the importance of listening to that inner voice. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights that help you navigate relationships with wisdom and strength. You won't want to miss the next steps in this journey. Number 6. Digital deception. How technology makes cheating easy. Technology has brought us closer than ever before, but it has also opened doors to secrets and deception that were once much harder to conceal. If you've ever felt uneasy about how someone uses their phone or computer, you're not alone. Digital tools have become a playground for those who want to stray while keeping their tracks hidden. Let's break down how technology can make cheating easier and what signs to watch for. First, let's consider how easy it is to communicate discreetly today. Messaging apps, disappearing photos, and private browsing modes have made secret communication almost effortless. Platforms like WhatsApp, Instagram, or even Snapchat allow conversations to happen outside the typical call or text message logs. This makes it easy for someone to engage in private exchanges without leaving evidence on their phone bill or standard messaging apps. If your partner has suddenly become attached to their phone and guards it like a treasure chest, it could be worth paying attention. Pay attention to sudden changes in digital habits. For example, have they started keeping their phone face down or taking it with them everywhere, even into the bathroom? Do they get jumpy when a notification pops up? Or do they suddenly lock their phone with a new password? These behaviors might seem small, but they can be signs of something bigger. Social media is another avenue for digital deception. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok may seem harmless, but they're often used to reconnect with old flames or forge new connections. A sudden increase in activity, more time spent online, new friends, or an unusually high interest in someone's posts can be a red flag. Direct messages, DMs, are private and difficult to track, making social media a convenient tool for secret interactions. Then, there's the issue of secret accounts. Creating an entirely separate digital persona is easier than ever. Some people use alternate profiles or apps designed specifically to conceal activity. These tools make it possible to maintain an entirely hidden digital life. If you've noticed odd gaps in their online activity, like being active late at night or notifications that don't match their usual platforms, it might be worth investigating. Let's not forget about dating apps. While many people think of Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge as tools for singles, they're often used by those in relationships seeking an affair. Reinstalling or hiding dating apps is incredibly simple. If you suspect something is amiss, checking for hidden apps or strange downloads could provide answers. Even seemingly innocent platforms like gaming apps or shared work tools can be exploited for digital deception. Some individuals use multiplayer games or workplace communication tools like Slack to connect with others in ways that seem perfectly innocent on the surface. But behind the scenes, these interactions can carry an entirely different tone. So, how do you address this? Start by being aware, not paranoid. Pay attention to patterns rather than single instances. If they're suddenly glued to their phone or overly protective of their devices, it's okay to feel concerned. Approach the topic calmly and with curiosity rather than accusation. For instance, you could say, "I've noticed you've been more private with your phone lately. Is there something bothering you that you'd like to share?" Another key step is to build trust in your relationship by fostering open communication. Express your feelings without jumping to conclusions, and give them the chance to explain any changes in behavior. However, it's also important to trust your instincts. If things don't add up, or if their explanations feel dismissive, it might be worth digging deeper. Now, let's turn this back to you. Have you ever encountered a situation where digital behavior raised your suspicions? Share your thoughts in the comments below with the phrase, "I see the signs," to let us know you're paying attention. Before we move on, take a moment to subscribe to the channel for more insights into relationships and emotional intelligence. The next part of this journey is one you won't want to miss. Number 7. Why they cheat. The emotional voids. They can't fill cheating often stems from deeper emotional voids rather than simple physical attraction. When someone steps outside their relationship, it's usually a reflection of something they feel is missing within themselves or within the connection they share with their partner. Understanding these emotional voids can shed light on why infidelity happens and what drives someone to seek solace elsewhere. One of the most common emotional voids is the need for validation. Some individuals feel unworthy or overlooked in their relationships and look outside for someone who makes them feel special again. This might not mean their partner is neglectful. It could be a case of personal insecurity or unresolved issues from the past. When they receive compliments, attention, or admiration from someone new, it temporarily fills that gap, making them feel seen and valued, even if the solution is fleeting. Another significant driver is a lack of emotional intimacy. Relationships evolve over time, and sometimes partners drift apart emotionally. This can leave one or both individuals feeling isolated or misunderstood. In these moments, they might connect with someone who seems to get them, offering emotional closeness that they no longer feel at home. Often, these connections start innocently, through conversations or shared experiences, but can quickly grow into something more when emotional needs go unmet for too long. Then, there's the pull of excitement and novelty. Relationships can settle into routines that feel predictable and monotonous over time. While stability is essential for a healthy relationship, some people crave the spark of something new to break the monotony. This doesn't justify their actions, but it highlights how an emotional void, a lack of excitement or thrill, can push someone toward risky behavior. The thrill of secrecy and the rush of being pursued can become addictive, even if the consequences are devastating. For others, cheating becomes a way to escape stress or dissatisfaction in their personal lives. Work pressures, financial struggles, or feelings of inadequacy can create a desire to escape reality, even temporarily. An affair might feel like a way to forget their troubles or regain a sense of control over their lives. Unfortunately, this form of escapism often leads to deeper complications rather than resolving the root issues. Another critical void is the need for independence or autonomy. Ironically, some individuals cheat, not because they want to leave their relationship, but because they feel trapped or constrained. They might view an affair as a way to assert their individuality, to feel free from the responsibilities or expectations of their partnership. This isn't a healthy way to reclaim independence, but it's a common narrative among those who feel stifled in their current situation. It's also essential to consider the role of unresolved trauma. For some, past experiences of neglect, abandonment, or betrayal shape how they approach relationships. They may cheat as a way of protecting themselves, pushing someone away before they can be hurt, or reenacting patterns they've never addressed. While these behaviors are damaging, they often point to wounds that need healing rather than malice or disregard for their partner. Finally, there's the issue of unmet desires, whether physical, emotional, or aspirational. Some people cheat because they feel their partner doesn't align with their vision of life or doesn't share the same goals or dreams. Instead of communicating these frustrations, they seek someone who reflects the version of life they wish they had, even if it's only temporary. So, what can we learn from these emotional voids? Cheating isn't just about the act. It's about the unmet needs that lead to it. This understanding doesn't excuse infidelity, but it offers insight into its roots. If you've been on the receiving end of betrayal, knowing these factors can help you process what happened and realize that it wasn't about your worth or value. And if you've ever found yourself tempted to stray, reflecting on these voids can help you address the real issues before making a decision that could cause irreversible harm. What do you think about the role emotional voids play in relationships? Share your thoughts below with the phrase, "Understand the voids," to join the conversation. Thank you for watching this video and being part of this journey with us. Remember, understanding relationships starts with understanding ourselves and the dynamics at play. If you found this video insightful, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content. Stay strong, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.